thank you very much for coming tonight. Tonight is Ignite Health Ontario's first event, and we're here actually because of you, because you're interested in the topics. Yeah, we'll get started. So just some food for thought. I wanted to put out there, what ignites your passion? Think a little bit about what that means to you. Keywords are ignite and passion. So we've asked some folks to come today who are really excited, passionate, live by what they're here to talk about, and we've only given them 5 minutes to do that. So can you imagine talking about your passion for only 5 minutes? It's pretty difficult. So think a little bit about that when you're watching the presentations today, how difficult it is to cram all of what you want to say into one tiny presentation. But the point of that for you today is that we want people to enlighten you very, very quickly about something that they're passionate about. So Ignite London is a new evolution, Ignite Health Ontario is a new evolution of Ignite London, which is a speaker series that takes place in London. Their next event will be hosted on November 14th at the Aeolian Hall on Dundas Street. So hopefully you've had a chance to see those presentations, and if you haven't, be sure to join them there. Some of the presentations that go on with Ignite London can be about any topic. So our event specifically is around health. If you are interested in doing a presentation, you can talk to Tim Felsky, who's here today, and I'll be talking a bit about him in a bit. So I just wanted to start off by acknowledging that Deb Matthews sends her regrets today. She wasn't able to join us, but she did send a letter to give her greetings. So I just wanted to read that for you. Warm greetings to all those gathered for Ignite Health Ontario's first event. This evening would not be possible without Ignite Health Ontario's organizers and volunteers. Thanks to your hard work and dedication, Londoners have an opportunity to learn more about a balanced approach to self-motivated care. The pillars of this event, food, exercise, mental health, spirituality, practitioners and patient stories, are all important elements of the healthcare sector. I commend each of the speakers for creating innovative and passionate presentations around these pillars. The perspectives you bring will ensure everyone leaves tonight with well-rounded information. Once again, thank you for raising the dialogue of healthcare in Ontario, and congratulations on your first event. Sincerely, Deb Matthews. So she's the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care. So let's give her a little applause for giving her greetings tonight. I also just wanted to finish my introductory speech here just to highlight our sponsors of this event. And I know you're not here to really listen to what I have to say, so I'll try to get through them quickly while acknowledging them appropriately. So our first sponsor I'd like to highlight would be Ignite London. Their slogan is "Enlighten us but make it quick." So I gave you a little synopsis about what they're doing, but they're our bronze sponsor. They have inspiration for tonight's event, and our evolution of Ignite Health Ontario kind of stems from their events. So we'd like to thank them. As I mentioned, November 14th will be their next event. So if you're inspired by tonight's presentations and you have a topic you must talk about, remember to keep it to 5 minutes. And if you'd like to speak to Tim Felsky, if you just want to wave so people know where you are, he'd love to discuss the ideas with you. So thank you very much for your support. Next, I'd like to highlight Katy Staden from the High Hill Reiki Studio, who's also a bronze sponsor. She believes in positive energies bringing positive results in her practice. Not only is she a bronze sponsor and one of our speakers tonight, but she also helped to secure our projector, which obviously is a key point to what we're hosting today. So thank you so much to Alea Vigeo to letting us borrow her projector. Tim Felsky, I'd like to acknowledge as well as one of our bronze sponsors from Velocity Drivers. His business addresses multimedia and data context and in London, Ontario. Tim has been a key volunteer for Ignite Health, who's also a part of Ignite London Planning Committee, and has helped to arrange media coverage in Metro newspaper and has told almost everyone he knows about this event. So thank you very much, Tim. Tim is also one of the producers for the Wonka show that's held at the McManus studio, so I encourage you to also check that out. Denise Desta from JD Communications Design is also one of our bronze sponsors. Oh, sorry, she's our sponsor for business card design for Ignite Health Coordinator and Master of Ceremonies, which is myself. JD Communication and Design is branding, web design, and graphic design agency servicing London, Ontario, and surrounding areas. They also provide services to Canada nationally and the world. They provide creative professionals, powerful imagery with a wow factor, and their design and branding experts work directly with you from design conception to project completion. So thank you, Denise, for providing those with us. I'd also like to acknowledge Laura and Blaire from Karma Yoga Studios, who are here tonight and will lead us through some simple yoga stretches and moves to help us relax, open our minds, to get us prepared and ready for what we're going to experience tonight. They're also a bronze sponsor and would like to share their passion about yoga with you. Laura and Blaire are instructors at the Karma Yoga Studio, and you can find out more from them after the talks. I'd like to also acknowledge Dr. Kresimer Jug from Gainsborough Family Chiropractic. He's a passionate believer of what he does. His team is fully supportive of the initiatives that we're creating in London and have taken all the opportunities to provide support and speak at different events. Gainsborough Family Chiropractic is our bronze sponsor, as I mentioned, and we'll be hearing from him later this evening. I'd also like to acknowledge Donna Curry from Photographs of Charities. They have 3 photographers tonight and wanted to acknowledge that they provide photographers for charity and nonprofit events. We'd like to thank them for taking the pictures to capturing this first event, and it will never be forgotten. Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge 2 more folks here, Michael Sclero and Michael Kovac. Both are going to be videographing our event tonight, so you'll be able to catch these presentations online. We'll be setting up an Ignite Health video channel on YouTube, and if you had friends or family that wanted to come today that weren't able to, please let them know about that, and they'll be able to catch the presentations at a later time. So Michael Sclero is volunteering his time videotaping tonight. His presentations will be available, as I said, on the Ignite Health channel. And his business provides the following services: a videographer for corporate shoots, events and music videos, photographing events, portraits, and professional color correction and grading using DaVinci Resolve. He also does slideshows and corporate videos, graphic design work, and 3D bumpers and animation. Michael Kovac, again, one of the videographers tonight, is able to tell his story to viewers through collected images. They need to be able to express emotions using music and sound and other visuals. His work begins with these items, and he's volunteered in London with the local Roger TV channel starting a few years ago, which sparked his interest in videography. If you have an event that you'd like recorded or documented, please contact Michael through Spectacle Cinema to capture, edit, and publish your event online so that it's available for others to enjoy. So without further ado, I'd like to start by welcoming our first presentation, Laura and Blaire, to do the Karma Yoga Studios warm-up with everybody. Introduction to yoga, but the energy level in the room now, we can all feel, I think, is a little bit higher from that. Wouldn't it be nice to do those breathing exercises and stretches every day after work? Because I had a long day and I know I feel pretty good right now, so thank you very much for that. I just wanted to start off with a brief introduction for our first speaker tonight, Emory Ediger. Did I pronounce that correctly? He's talking about from the heart of the nursing home today. So I just have a little bio to share with you about his experiences. He has a long-standing interest in the area of encouraging and helping others through troubled times in their lives. He's what some people call a word freak. This gives him intense interest in the English language, particularly in poetry, and he's enjoyed rhyming words all throughout his life, has written various poems, primarily those relating to experiences that he's had in the past. For the past 10 years, he's combined these two interests by compiling word puzzles, crossword puzzles, and word search puzzles, and sharing them with others, including those in the nursery home. So please give a warm welcome to Emory.
Several years ago, I had a ministry in a nursing home. I wrote this poem during that time. Just one word of caution, though. It starts out as a real tearjerker, but it ends up on a happy note. I sit here and stare, but no one seems to care. If only they knew, my visitors are so few. I sit here and think. Occasionally my eyes may blink, but hardly anyone stops to say, "How are you today?" I sit here and wait. I guess that's my daily fate, for without a doubt I cannot go out. I sit here and wait. There's still food on my plate, but I don't want that. What I crave is just a pat. I sit here and wait, but for what time or date? It's never too late to say, "My, you are great." I sit here so still. My age is over the hill, but I do have a mind, you know, even though it may not show. I sit here and slowly die. Almost everyone just walks by. But I am yet alive, and I do have some drive. So the next time you pass by, listen to my feeble cry. Stop just for a minute. Notice my chair and who's in it. I know you're in a hurry. Your world is in a scurry, but my world is so still. Oh, please stop if you will. It would be such a thrill, and I would get a little chill if you would just look into my eyes. Oh, I yearn for that prize. For what do I wait? I wait for the pearly white gate to swing open wide, and I inside will stride. I know I will enter there, because to God I've given my care. I've asked Him for forgiveness of my sin, and He has come within. The happy, smiling faces I have met in many places are watching now for me, just beyond the jasper sea. As I sit here, I really don't stare. I'm simply looking over there, where my friends are standing by to welcome me home when I die. What I'm thinking of is all those I love who have gone on before through heaven's door. Yes, today I sit here still, but very soon I will be free from all pain and revel in eternal gain. You know, people in nursing homes are generally very, very lonely. I would encourage each one of you to take just a minimum of 1 hour per month to visit someone there. You don't have to know them. In fact, in some ways, it's better if you don't, because it would mean that much more to him or her. They would gain a new friend, and you know what? You just might gain a new friend as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emory. What an inspirational poem. I think you can really feel the emotion behind that, and I think we can all look towards his call to action to make sure that we're inclusive to the older folks and elders in our community. So, you know, if you see someone in the nursing home, or if you have a grandfather or your parents are a bit older, give them a call, see how they're doing. You know, it's important to them. So thank you for bringing that message to us. I'd just like to introduce our next speaker, Andrew Thomas. He'll be talking about what the heck is holistic nutrition. Andrew Thomas is a registered holistic nutritionist from Oakville, Ontario. He received his BA in Communication, Culture, and Information Technology from the University of Toronto and obtained his RHN designation from the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. Andrew is an avid researcher of nutrition and natural health, and has an appetite for continually expanding his knowledge and expertise in the field. Andrew's mission is to empower you with the facts and the knowledge that is necessary for thriving in our modern world. Andrew?
All right, thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Thomas, as you now know, and I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be bending down the whole time. From Oakville, Ontario, so a little bit out of town, but really excited to be a part of this event tonight. And anyways, I guess we're diving right into it. So a registered holistic nutritionist educates individuals about the benefits of natural nutrition and a healthy lifestyle. And we look at not only diet, but other lifestyle elements as well, hence the term holistic. So, yeah. RHNs are qualified health professionals who follow a strict code of ethics and scope of practice. And we're not doctors, so we don't diagnose conditions or administer tests or prescribe medications. RHNs do work with clients to identify and help correct the nutritional imbalances and causes of disease and other health problems. And we're qualified to design personalized diet and lifestyle programs that will optimize your health. And RHN specializes in individualized diet and lifestyle optimization, much more than other health practitioners. Again, this is our area of focus. And we focus on preventative protocols and the root cause of disease and health imbalances. We go beyond the 4 food groups, identifying which foods are really appropriate for you, knowing that everyone's biochemically unique. And our primary goal is to educate, clearing up the confusion of the massive dietary advice we're exposed to. RHNs inform you how a whole foods diet and healthy lifestyle contribute to healthy aging. And RHNs prime you for health sovereignty, empowering you to take charge of your own health and feeling really confident in doing so. We help you develop a healthier relationship with your food. And we provide long-term solutions, not quick fixes or crash diets. And we educate you about the preparation and addition of new foods into your diet as well. All health problems are influenced to some extent by diet and lifestyle, and this is part of the epigenetics theory. And the major chronic diseases of our time, the number 1 killers, all are diet-related: cancer, diabetes, heart disease. So who should see a nutritionist? Weight management, anyone looking to lose weight or even gain weight in a healthful and sustainable manner. And diet is the biggest weight loss factor, much more than exercise. People who have digestive problems, example, heartburn, GERD, acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome. Disease prevention and management, managing the symptoms, again, heart disease, cancers, osteoporosis. For women who are pregnant and really want to optimize their nutrition to produce a healthy baby. For parents learning how to incorporate healthy foods into their kids' diets. This is often a problem in this day and age with so much junk food out there. For teens and adolescents, skin problems, weight issues, any other hormonal problems that most teens experience. And for athletes, really optimizing performance and enhancing their immune system health, as well as joint health and energy overall. And basically for anyone who values their health and wants to learn how to live a strong, vibrant, healthy life. And again, the key here is education and empowerment, and that's my role. And so why did I become a holistic nutritionist? Well, I've been passionate about nutrition and optimal health for over 6 years. And what began as a raw food diet experiment turned into my quest for improving both my own health and other people's health. And being an avid researcher that was eager to share all my information with others, gaining credentials was my next step. And so I decided to do the holistic nutrition route because this philosophy really aligned with my own in terms of how we do diet and lifestyle approaches. Holistic nutrition is not restrictive. It allows for many different natural healing modalities and approaches, and that's what I love about it. You know, it's not restricted to this 4 food groups idea because we are all biochemically unique. Holistic nutrition recognizes that diet is not the only element to consider, but again, taking a holistic approach, looking at sleep, stress, sunlight exposure, exercise, all important for health. So my ultimate goal is to educate, inspire, and empower others to achieve the health that we were born to have. And again, I think education is the key factor here, and that's what's really going to help change the current health crisis that we're in. So I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and being a part of this awesome event. If you have any more questions or just want to know more about my services, I'll be on the booth over there and we can talk after. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for enlightening us about holistic nutrition. So I think you get a sense that holistic means all of the health components of what you can expect in your lifetime. So I just wanted to draw your attention as well. So Andrew did mention that you can speak with him, and the other speakers also have some information here set up for you. So if something touches you or speaks to you a little bit further and you want to get some more information, please stick around after the talks. The speakers will be here to answer any questions that you might have or give you some more information if you'd like to take home. Our next speaker is Wanda Davis, and she'll be talking about shamanic healing. Wanda is a Reiki master or teacher and a shamanic practitioner. Her business name is Elements of Healing Energy, where she offers holistic healing treatments to people to help them get well and stay healthy. Wanda teaches Reiki and shamanic journeying, leads workshops on various topics, and enjoys sharing her knowledge with others. Wanda is the co-author of the book called Getting Well, Mind, Body, and Spirit, which will be published later in March 2013. And her website is wandadavis.ca. Wanda?
Well, again, thanks to Michelle for inviting us to speak this evening. This is a great opportunity to let other people know about different health options. So what is shamanic healing? A lot of people ask that question. Well, essentially, it's connecting with the spiritual dimension of reality for healing and guidance. Michael Hardner, he's an American anthropologist, he discovered that indigenous tribes all over the world perform similar core universal techniques, and this is what he's brought back to the Western world to teach. So these key elements can actually be incorporated into anyone's daily life. It's a contemporary practice that anyone can learn, such as like meditation and yoga. It's kind of that whole idea, anybody can incorporate it into their own life. So animism, that's the belief that all things have intelligent, communicative life force or spirit and their own energy. And the whole idea is being able to build that relationship with them. So the idea, you can build this relationship with these life forces for wisdom, insight, healing, and it's this practice of direct revelation, actually going to the source for the information that actually brings the awe and wonder to every journey. So the next question is, what is a shamanic journey? Well, it's the art of using rhythm and intention to enter an altered state of consciousness. It's called the theta state, to connect with the spiritual dimension of reality. So it's a very deep meditative state is what you're doing. And when anybody can be taught how to journey for him or herself. And therefore, when you're in that deep meditative state is when you can get this intuition and the healing as well. So a shamanic practitioner would journey for a client, for the other person, to determine, first of all, what healing is needed, and then would proceed to act as the conduit for healing, depending on what was told to the person. So then talking a little bit about maybe your helpers and teachers. So each of us has allies that help us. Everybody has at least one power animal, and a power animal brings you power and protection. And again, teachers can come in many forms. Teachers in human form, they can include an ancestor, an indigenous teacher, a person from a story, a saint, an ascended master such as Jesus or Buddha, Mary. So the idea of being able to connect with these people in this meditative state to be able to get the guidance. And again, it's a lot about the respect for the elements as well. They can be used for healing. So again, earth, air, fire, and water. 3 major methods of shamanic healing. And again, you know, it's not necessarily something you would learn right off. This is more deeper learnings, but you could go to shamanic practitioner for these different methods of shamanic healing. So the first one is power animal retrieval. Remember how I said everybody has a power animal? So in this case, this may be bringing back an animal whose power may be needed for a particular purpose at that time. Or perhaps in a time of trauma, a person has lost connection with part of their energetic soul. And a soul retrieval, this is the second type, would help them feel more whole again and be able to move forward with what they might have to do in their life. The third type of healing is extraction healing. And that's actually the more physical one. It actually helps remove any blockages, any energy blockages in the energy body that may prevent the energy from flowing properly. And we'll be talking more about that later as well. Shamanic healing, it's a lot about that connection to nature. Being able to be in nature and actually feel the energy of the trees and the plants and the ground around you and be able to get that healing power from nature as well. Shamanic healing, I find, can be very powerful, and it can actually shift that body energy balance towards healing quicker and more powerfully than many other types of holistic healing methods can. So a person need only trust the process to actually gain this tremendous wisdom, insights, and healing. And I always recommend that trust word is very important, especially when somebody's just learning how to journey themselves. So again, I'm Wanda Davis. If you have any more questions about shamanic healing, I'll be happy to answer them. This talk is usually given in like an hour and a half, so 5 minutes is pretty quick. So anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wanda. I think you taught us a lot in just 5 minutes, and I'd just like to remind our guests here how difficult it really is to cram all of your information into a small presentation, so thank you again. Our next speaker, I'd like to welcome back Blaire Rymer from Yoga Karma Studios. She's going to be talking about yoga, living life in love. Blaire's been teaching yoga for 7 years, the last 2 of which has been at Karma Yoga Studio. She's a fun-loving, upbeat teacher, which we were able to experience today, that's driven to help people live a pain-free, healthy life and realize their life truly is a celebration. Blaire?
Well, hello. Okay, so when most of us think about yoga, we think of the crazy, twisted, and contorted positions that us yogis put our bodies into. But really, the physical aspect of a yoga practice is just barely scratching the surface. Yoga really is a lot more than standing on our heads and stretching our hamstrings. But that being said, it is the physical practice that does tend to pique our attention and draw us to yoga. And really, that's where we need to start. In the beginning, we need to learn how to move our bodies with grace and flow with the energy inside of our own bodies. We need to learn how to truly align our bodies so that we can tap into the power that we have inside. And when we start doing this, we start unraveling the tension and the stress that our bodies can carry. We begin healing our injuries and releasing our pain. But to do this, we need to tap into the mind and we need to tap into the heart. So mentally, what we need to do is let go. We need to let go of all the stories that we're constantly telling ourselves inside of our own minds. Why we're hurt, why we're sick, why we're injured, why we can't get into a pose as deep as the person next to us. We also need to let go of all the chatter that is constantly going on inside the mind that stops us from experiencing stillness, that stops us from experiencing peace and a state of ease. Because the chatter prevents us from truly experiencing the moment. So yoga practice truly does teach us to focus, to connect, and just to be still. And getting even more subtle than that, we connect to the heart, the spirit, the universal love that ignites every single cell of our being. And it's this heart virtue that sets yoga aside from a lot of other physical activities or exercise routines. It's through connecting to our heart that the transformation that a yoga practice can bring truly happens. As we shed away these layers of physical and mental stresses, injuries, traumas, and pains, we allow the heart's light to grow brighter. We can connect to the amazing, vibrant being that we are on the inside, not the car we drive, not the clothes we wear, or the house that we live in. We can connect to who we are on the inside, the very essence of our being. And when we learn to live our lives in a place of love, live in this open place, we truly learn to open our eyes up to see how amazing and beautiful life really is. We begin living our lives with our truest potential because we deserve to. We start to see that life is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be lived and had. And what an amazing experience it is if we choose to embrace it. But it does take work. It's way easier to not come to yoga. It's way easier to live in pain, to judge, to criticize, and just basically live a life that you don't want to live because society says to. So all that being said, how does yoga really actually help you do that? Well, basically, number one, you'll never leave a yoga class in a bad mood, right? And also, yoga, as I already said, is a very multidimensional practice of connection with mind, body, and spirit, or heart, however you want to connect to that. When something is off in any one of these dimensions, essentially we're off balance. And yoga is really here to help us restore that balance. And it's here to bring unity of the mind, body, and heart back in order so that we can truly experience a positive and happy lifestyle on all levels. Yoga helps us to become more aware of our physical bodies, our mental body, and also the heart's desires. And when balance is restored, essentially, we feel good. We have high energy levels, reduced to no pain. I don't want to say no pain at all, but we do start to reduce pain. And in general, we live life in love. We live life with a smile on our faces, and you just want to spread the word of love or the word of yoga because it makes you feel good, because it truly is a very powerful practice. So honestly, when you start practicing yoga, you can't help but feel good because you don't have that tension and that stress in your body. You don't have that tension, that stress in your mind, and when you go more and more subtle, you don't have that stress and tension in your heart. So really, you can't help but radiate with that vibrant energy of love because feeling good consumes you, just like any other emotion does. But when you start to practice yoga, you tend to gravitate towards those more positive emotions. So when I was asked to speak for a couple of minutes about why I love yoga so much, I was totally down because it's so easy. I love yoga because it's awesome. It truly is a transformational practice that really does consume you. It connects you to your heart, makes you feel amazing physically, mentally, and spiritually. There's never a part in yoga that you're not constantly growing, and there's never a time that a deep breath doesn't make a difference. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Blaire. I almost want to do another pose to get back into it, but thank you very much for telling us a little bit about yoga. I think some people, well, I know some people that kind of see it as, you don't really get a good workout, or you're not really doing anything, you're just posing, but actually we realized today it's much more than that, so thank you. I wanted to introduce our next speaker, Megan Clermont, who's going to be talking about her impact of chronic illness as a teenage girl. Megan is 16 years old and attends Sir Frederick Banting Secondary School. She's passionate about human rights, theater, old movies, and history. Megan has been sick since she was 11 years old with a chronic illness that has isolated her socially. She started fighting back May of this year, and she wants to share her inspirational story with you today.
Hello everybody, as she said, my name's Megan and I'm 16 years old. Many of you in this room know my mother, or at least know of her. She's the woman who put all this together, so can we just... She also put my slides together, so they're all pictures of me. I'm not egotistical, I promise. My mother did it. Well, I'm the reason she put all this together. I've been sick for the last 5 years of my life. My mom grew passionate about health as the years went on, and I didn't get better. 5 years of being misdiagnosed, of having doctors tell me my illness was all in my head, and 5 years of a whole lot of nothing. And here we are today, fighting back against my illness, and hoping to help others with their fight. I'm here today to tell you my story and how I got where I am today. I was diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in 2008, after 2 years of exhaustion and unexplained symptoms. At the time of my disease, it wasn't well known. My doctors left me telling me I should exercise and eat right. They never told me what that actually means. Me and my mom tried our best, but the years went and I didn't improve. 1 year of non-stop heavy menstruation that caused anemia. 1 year of extreme vertigo, leaving me unable to walk and bound to a wheelchair. 1 year of 2 to 4 hours sleep a night. None of this was ever explained. I never got a real diagnosis or a solution. My body had to get rid of it by itself. The thing about being sick for so long is I had a lot of time to think. Most people envy being able to stay home all day and relax. But being that isolated can become pretty boring and pretty tedious. You can only check Facebook so many times. For the first few years of my illness, I found small things to entertain me while I was out of school. Video games, books, television shows. But as I grew older, I spent more of that time thinking. I thought about my future and if I would get the chance to even have one. I thought about my family and if I would always be a burden on them. And I thought about the world and would I ever be able to make a difference. I started spending more of my time reading about what was going on in the world. And I started seeing things that I couldn't believe were happening. Like in Iran, a few months ago, 70 university programs were closed off to women. And in countries like Uganda, it is legal to kill you because of simply who you love. Reading all this, I wanted to fix it, but never thought I could. At this point in my life, I didn't let myself dream or hope for anything but sickness. After 5 years of nearly constant illness, how could I? So I ignored what I read and went back to watching TV. Something changed for me a few months ago. I got tired of letting my illness stop me. I got tired of not doing anything because no one thought I could succeed, especially the doctors. I got tired of accepting that I would live the rest of my life being ill. I don't know what changed for me, but I did. I started researching the universities and looking at careers in human rights. And I started working towards a future for myself. I started volunteering in the community and doing things to see if I could handle going back to school. And now after 5 years, I'm fighting my illness. So I can do something with my life. I've decided I want to become a human rights lawyer and be the person that helps solve the types of issues I just mentioned. So this year, I'm working very hard in school, very, very hard, and to get more involved and to get into a good university and eventually a good law school, so I can help the people in these issues I just mentioned. I'm still not in perfect health. There are nights when I get 3 hours of sleep and have to face off a day full of choir practice, play rehearsals, and social justice club meetings on top of my very, very busy course load. But after so much stagnant time, I wouldn't have it any other way. So that's my story. That's why we're all here today. Thank you very much for your attention.
I think we can all agree we'll be seeing Megan in the future at different advocacy events talking about human rights because, wow, she's got a lot of passion and energy behind her words. So thank you very much for sharing your story. It was very inspirational. I think you've all deserve a break because you've been so attentively listening to our speakers. So I'd just like to draw your attention to your left. We've got some coffee and treats here. And just behind you, beside the Spree Family Theater, are some washrooms. We're just going to take a quick 10-minute break to give you guys a nice chance to stretch again and have some refreshments. Everybody back. So thank you for that. I just wanted to take this time to acknowledge a mistake I made earlier in the program. I forgot to acknowledge our biggest sponsor, silver sponsor today. So I'd like to take the time to acknowledge him now. And you've been seeing his name up on the slide. So I'd like to acknowledge Tommy Cadwell of Hybrid Training Systems. Tommy's been working hard to change lives and raise awareness of healthy living. He's been writing amazing blogs on our website, ignitehealthblog.wordpress.com. And if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please make sure to do so. We encourage you to read his blogs. He's, again, our silver sponsor of this event, and we truly, really appreciate all of what he's done to support the concept and help it move forward. So we'd like to acknowledge Tommy. Thank you. I also hope you had a chance to enjoy some of Kiki's maple sap during the break, just over here in the Labatt Lounge. If you didn't have a chance to, be sure to try some after the speakers. I also wanted to draw your attention, if you didn't have a chance, the ladies sitting behind you are here from Arbonne. Michelle is there and Darlene. So I just wanted to acknowledge that they're here with some samples. They have a skincare line for men and women. They also have makeup and day-to-day products, and all of their line is 100% vegan certified. And their company started 32 years ago, so they've got a lot of experience, expertise in providing you with healthy alternatives for your skin, makeup, day-to-day products. So please make sure you grab one of these if you want to get some more information. And they've got opportunities to do house parties as well. So if any ladies here want to get involved with that, please make sure to speak to them before you go today. So if we get back to the program, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Kresimer Jug. He'll be talking about Life by Design, Why Should You See a Chiropractor? The owner of Life by Design, Strength and Conditioning Center of West London CrossFit and Gansborough Family Chiropractic. Dr. Jug is passionate about sharing his vision for creating an extraordinary life. Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm Dr. Kresimer Jug, and we're gonna not talk about why you should see a chiropractor. We're going to talk about the why behind health. But first, we need to define what health is, and it's not. Well, here's what the World Health Organization defines it as: a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And what I don't like about that is it doesn't take into account change. One of my favorite Chinese proverbs is, you can't step in the same river twice because the water moves. Our body changes. You guys literally, when you leave this presentation, you're going to be different people because our body has changed. It's constantly changing. It's never the same. Health is your ability to adapt. The healthier you are, the more alive you are, the better you adapt. Dead things don't adapt. Those chairs don't change. You've changed, right? And this came from Bruce Lipton, PhD. You can't be in growth and defense at the same time. Either you're growing or you're dying. Those are the only two options we got. We can't stay the same, right? Why do people care about this? Really simple. Because health is of value to every single person on the planet. Everything you do, if you don't think health is important, as like the first speaker said, just go visit an old folks home where health is gone. Those people will do anything, will pay anything to get their health back. We got one shot at this. It's vital. One of my favorite quotes from the Dalai Lama: man sacrifices his health for money and then spends his money sacrificing it for his health. Right? We're really blowing it when it comes to this. Who cares? Here's the problem. People don't care about health. You stop them in the street and you say, do you care about health? And they'll say yes. They pay a lip service, but they really don't care. Look at our actions. What we have to start telling people is health is a vehicle to get you what you want. Nobody cares about being healthy, but everyone wants to take a vacation with their wife for the rest of their life. Everyone wants to play with their grandchildren. Everyone wants to be able to play golf. And if we don't have health, we don't have those things. Health isn't a means to an end for people. The end is what they want, right? And we're dropping the ball. Look at the world. I can go through the stats. It's really not that hard. Obesity, drugs, cancer, diabetes. We've heard some of the stats tonight. We are not getting any healthier. And the question that we have to answer is, how do we get there? Well, we talked about the first thing. We have to have a proper definition for people, number one. And we have to tell them that health is a means to get what you want. And here's the exciting part, what I'm going to start talking about on the next slide. We have to start with our why. Why do we do what we do? What is our purpose in this? right? Why do you guys wake up and you want to talk to people about health? What pumps you up? In Simon Sinek's book, he talked about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Right? We're great at selling our products. I'm a chiropractor, I'm a yoga instructor, I sell Arbonne. We're great at the products, and that's awesome. But people don't buy that, they buy why. Right? When 250,000 people showed up to hear Martin Luther King talk, the talk was called I Have a Dream, not I Have a Plan. Right? He didn't spell it out, he painted his vision for people. I'm going to quote Steve Jobs on the next slide. It's in Apple's DNA that technology is not enough. It's technology married with the humanities, married with the liberal arts that makes our hearts sing. What a why that is. That's powerful. That's what we have to start sharing with people. So what's your why? 15 seconds, right? What is it? What motivates you guys to wake up in the morning and to go out and to change the world? If you could paint the world, if I could give you a paintbrush and you could paint the world however you wanted it, how would you make it? Here's our why for Life by Design. I believe that your life is supposed to be extraordinary. That health, success, prosperity, abundance, it's not abnormal, it's natural. It's the way we're supposed to be. How does this sound in my office? Here's what I can do. I can say, hi, I'm a chiropractor. I connect your brain to your body. It's called an adjustment. Do you want to make an appointment? That's what I do. Or, here's what I can say. I believe you're designed to be extraordinary. The health, happiness, abundance is meant for you. Oh, by the way, I'm a chiropractor. Do you want some? And those are two completely different conversations, right? One, I told them what I did, and on the other one, I told them what I believe. And it's so much more powerful and so much more fun sharing with people why you do what you do, right? It's really night and day sometimes. So here's the point, guys, and here's what I want to leave you with before we get to the last slide. Find out what your why is and learn how to communicate it, because that's what's going to change the world. Thank you.
Well, I can say that's a pretty straightforward call to action. Find out what your why is and how are you going to communicate that. So that is a great takeaway from Dr. Judge's speech. Thank you very much for that, because I think some people, when they get into their job, into their life, you kind of forget, why is it that you're doing what you do? Is it really what you want to do? And if you can understand the why for yourself, then you can, make sure that it's fulfilling for you. So thank you for that. Our next speaker is Jim Moss. He's going to be talking to us about the smile epidemic. Jim's the former London Knight captain, professional lacrosse player, and member of the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame. So we're here with a celebrity tonight. Throughout the healing process, Jim's learned the value of positive ability to walk. The positive thinking, which sparked a return to Wilfrid Laurier University, where he studied social psychology and intends to pursue his PhD. To aid his healing, Jim began gratitude journaling, which resulted in the creation of the Smile Epidemic. The program asks people to keep track of what makes them happy for 30 days and retains your brain to identify the positive aspects of any environment. Since its inception, the Smile Epidemic has been viewed in over 125 countries, over 600 cities around the world. It truly is an epidemic. Tell us more, Jim.
All right. I won't monkey with the microphone there. It looks like it's back in its spot. So my name is Jim Moss, and I am the founder and the chief happiness officer of the Smile Epidemic. And I am a student at Wilfrid Laurier, and my why is I want people to be as healthy and as happy as they deserve to be. Smile Epidemic is a very simple activity, 3 or 5 minutes a day, where you take notice of what has made you smile and then share it with the world on social media. Right now, we measure success on a national level based on our GDP. We think that capitalism and free markets give us choice, give us competition and lowest price, but what we really need is love, health, food, and shelter. And if we have those things, then we can have happiness. This is the old me. I used to be about 35 pounds bigger and stronger. I played professional lacrosse for 10 years, won world championships, gold medals, made it into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. The fans, they would call me the Axe. I was a big, tough defenseman. Sometimes I was even a little bit mean on the floor, even though I was a nice guy off the floor. And then things changed. I contracted a rare neuromuscular disease in 2009, and I literally ran up the side of the Santa Cruz Mountains one day, and 48 hours later I found myself lying in a hospital bed, couldn't feel my hands and my feet, and over the next 3 or 4 days I lost the ability to walk entirely. What I learned in the hospital was one morning a nurse said to me when she was helping me to the bathroom, "You better get used to it." And I thought that sounded like a sentence to me. But then later that night, the night shift nurse came on and she said, "Don't worry, sweetheart, you'll be back on your feet in no time." And I realized that if I could use gratitude to get optimism and resilience, that I would be happier and healthier and be able to heal quickly. So I built the Smile Epidemic, which is a really simple blog where we do exactly what I showed you before. We have people share their smiles. I started myself. So I was doing a private gratitude journal. And instead of writing, I didn't have time because I was back in school, I started to post photos of what I was grateful for. So I say, lend me your smile and I'll give it back to you with interest. Here's an example of children in our life. So 25% of all the posts, we've had 1,700 different people post in the last 8 weeks. 25% name children as being a source of their happiness. If you walk by a homeless person, you'll see them asking for money. But what they're really asking for are the tools to give them back happiness. They're asking for a means to regain love and health and psychological health, physical health, and shelter and food. We've had organizations do it. We've had companies who think, hey, this is a great idea, and filled with a room of guys you would never expect would do this. And then they end up naming things like teddy bears and maple syrup, and by day 3 they were all waiting for the girl to come in and take their pictures, and they couldn't believe the impact it was having on their life. This is my wife, so it works in relationships too. And what we're going to do leading up to Valentine's Day is 14 days of focused gratitude, where every day for 14 days you take note of something about your spouse or your partner that makes you happy, and then you gift it to them on Valentine's Day and tell them what you really think about them. People have used it for fundraising. So this month, our November is coming up, which is Movember, and we're using it as a means to fundraise. And we've had somebody, they were doing a fundraiser for what you'll see on the next slide, this young girl, Lydia. We raised $1,500, but more importantly, we used the smiles to capture messages of support to Lydia. She's a young girl in Waterloo who was struck by a distracted driver, and we sent 250 messages of support. So the other thing that everybody mentions, 35% of people mention food. And of that, the most popular food item so far is bacon. And we now know that on rainy days, everybody loves a hot bowl of soup. One of the best things is what the kids say. We go into classrooms and we have kids report on what makes them happy. And if you ask people just before they're about to die what they're regretful for, the things they list are the same things that children list at their age as making them the happiest. And the last incredible benefit that we've noticed so far is that you can make new friends from faraway places. You make new friends by sharing on Facebook. You find out what makes other people happy. You've got common ground to talk about things. We had one girl meet another boy at a bar, and he said to her, "You're bacon girl," and she said, "You're avocado guy," and they formed a relationship. So why I do this is because I think that we should all learn how valuable your smiles and your happiness are, and that in 3 to 5 minutes a day for 30 days, I can retrain your brain to pay attention to what really makes you happy, and hopefully you'll want to give that away and help us spread the epidemic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jim. So a couple takeaways. The 14-day challenge for Valentine's Day seems like a really sweet idea. But think about what makes you smile and post something to the blog, because I think that it's important to make sure that we're all still smiling. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Keith Harris with Kiki's Maple Sap, and as I mentioned, there's some samples here. He was born in Toronto, moved to Owen Sound, later to St. Andrews, New Brunswick, and now has found himself in London. He graduated from the University of Guelph with the honors of Bachelor of Science and has 2 children, Resigned from the automotive manufacturing company in 2009, and now he's taking on Kiki's Maple Sap. So please enlighten us a little bit about what that is.
I'm drinking more now. Thank you very much. I'm humbled and honored to be here. Great speakers that we have, and oddly enough, we're agreeing on a lot of things, aren't we? So, the goal of Trollbridge Creek is to bring to the global marketplace maple sap beverages year-round in the freshest possible condition. So, you got to dream big, or you might as well wake up, right? Okay. So, uniqueness. There are no companies currently producing pure maple sap beverages and trying to provide them year-round on the global market. Canada produces 75% of the world's maple products. Quebec is 95% of Canada, but Ontario is second with about 2.5%. Big difference, right? We make our beverages with 100% pure maple sap. The original is pure maple sap. I have it here as well. There's no preservatives. It's a neutral pH. When you drink it, it will slightly alkalize your body. It's best served cold, just like out of the pail. You guys that are old enough or young enough to go out into the sugar bush and tilt the pail back, you know what it'll taste like. Very good for your digestive system. Nutritional benefits of calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron, zinc. You need the magnesium. My wife drinks it for muscle cramps at night. A bottle at night, no cramps. Doesn't drink it, cramps. Amino acids, organic acids, vitamin B, vitamin 6, 64 antioxidants, anti-radicals, anti-mutagens, anti-inflammatories, anti-carcinogens. I'll have to stop. 15 minutes seems like a long time, right? Okay, now the interesting thing that's just come out in the last year and a half or so out of Quebec research is bisic acid. It's present in therapeutic levels in maple sap. Recent research shows that bisic acid will trigger the release of insulin from your pancreas and will improve the symptoms of type 2 diabetes. So those 300 million people with type 2 diabetes, right? The market is the whole food, health food, and good food stores, you will. But I believe in this area, broken it down by people, right? So there's 315 million people, 15 United States, and they have a tradition. In the EU, they have 500 million people. They already drink birch sap for thousands of years. I don't know whether you knew that or not. And populations with high type of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, China with 1.4, India with 1.3, Japan, Korea. So that's the type of market there is for this, okay? I have 4 flavors that I'm currently pushing. The plain on the far right there, and I have cranberry, blueberry, strawberry. I like the cranberry the best of the flavors. And we're going through now just a few slides of people that have supported. I am so totally surprised at the support that I'm getting from people in the industry. And I'm not asking them to support me. That was Jamie Slavin, who did a video blog on her favorite rehydrating drink, okay, for the summer. Now, Julie Daniluk, you may have heard of her, Healthy Gourmet Show, the book Meals That Heal Inflammation on the Oz Network, that type of thing. She basically calls this Canada's superfood because of all the nutrients in there and all those other little things. Melissa Machoni is with Extreme Fitness, personal trainer, and she wrote me independently that she was feeling sick, had a bottle of the lemon ginger, and she had her best workout performance and best recovery times ever. And Marty Wasserman, raw food expert, nutritionist, she liked my drink so much, she served it at her reception, at her wedding reception. So, I mean, that's faith, right? Oh, and this is my lovely wife. And she's still smiling, so that's good. That's good. Okay, I don't need to read that. Now, where can you buy it in London? Now, I can guarantee you they know where to buy it if they don't have it on the shelf, so just go ask again. Quartermasters at the bottom is my biggest supporter, but the other places have had it and know where to get it. And there you go. Was that 5 minutes? It seemed less. Anyways, good news. I'll just take 30 seconds more. Some good news in the last probably 5 days. I got a Chinese broker, and I've got 2 letters now totaling of $700,000 in orders in 2 days. And the reason is because Canadian food is considered pure and healthy, and the Chinese food, there's too many counterfeits and unreliable. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. But anyways, it's going international. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. So now we know to try the Kiki's Maple Sab if you haven't already for its nutritional aspects. Our next speaker is Lisa Merriam, who's 20 years old and has been diagnosed with mental illness at age 14. She dealt with bullying after the diagnosis and treatment. She's had self-harm scars up and down her arms and has tried suicide to get away from the pain. Now she's writing a blog and helping others to deal with mental illness to stand up and not be hidden. So she'll be talking about diminishing the stigma.
Thank you. When I was 14, I was catapulted into a new world that I had no knowledge about. I was diagnosed with depression and social anxiety. Due to my family doctor not having the knowledge about mental health, I had spent much of my childhood misunderstanding my deep sadness and fears. My anxiety had gotten so bad that I was unable to even leave my house. I went through 5 long months of treatment of learning to accept my diagnosis. I had no clue what lay ahead. I returned to public schooling in grade 10 to find that somehow word had gotten out about my depression and my treatment. I had past classmates coming up to me in the hall asking me if I had attempted suicide, asking me if I was one of those attention-seeking cutters, and it didn't just end with my past classmates. It grew to include current classmates and even complete strangers. One particular event that has stayed with me was going into the school bathroom and hearing one senior, clear as day, tell the other senior, "Oh, that suicide girl." The name has stuck in my mind since then, and sadly I've heard it more than a few times since. Since then, I've had to deal with a new diagnosis of PTSD due to an unhealthy relationship I had as a teen, and I've been through 2 long hospital admissions just in this past year. I've gained numerous scars on my body from self-harm and dealt with a suicide attempt. Even though I'm no longer in high school where random people knew about my mental health issues, I'm no longer able to hide it. Part of the reason is I don't want to. I've been through some pretty rocky waters in my life, and I'm still able to stand here in front of all of you, even though I've had several panic attacks already today because of this speech. No matter what a person has been through that's hard, physical or mental, if you're still standing after that hard event, you should be proud. You're allowed to be. But the other reason, that comes up when I'm having an off day that everyone with a negative mind can understand, those days when you're too exhausted to fight with your negative mind or with insensitive people, those days I can't hide my mental health issues because they're written on my body, or more precisely, carved. I have 19 lifelong scars just on my right forearm and wrist. I can't wear a t-shirt, tank top, strapless, quarter sleeve, or swimsuit without my scars being on display. Imagine the reactions I must get, eh? I have to admit I've gotten sweetheart, concern, hugs, and pats on the shoulder from people that have seen them. Sadly, what stays with me is negative. The frowns, disgust, horror, fear, the bugged eyes. Why do those things stick with me? Because they're proof of the stigma that surrounds mental illness. Having to deal with stigma from classmates, a family doctor not educated about mental illness, even past friends and countless others, made my recovery and acceptance of my mental illness even harder. Others, males, female, young, old, having to deal with a new or old diagnosis of mental illness are already trying to deal, already being completely exhausted by trying to manage day-to-day with their own negative thoughts. Tacking on dealing with the stigma, that almost forces people to give up. forces people to think even more negatively of themselves. Society has this thought that talking about mental health or having a mental illness is such a taboo, something you shouldn't tell others, something to hide under the rug, something to be ashamed of. On my blog, Diminish the Stigma, I'm fighting stigma by telling my story. By talking about my own issues and being open about my diagnosis, I'm opening up the possibility for others to share their own stories, their own mental health issues. By speaking out, by sharing, we are showing that we're not ashamed, that mental illness is not something to be ashamed about. I'm also using the numerous hours I've spent reading personal stories, textbooks, and articles about psychology. I'm giving the facts, the information to help understand mental illness. Misunderstanding of mental illness enables the stigma of mental health to continue. As an example, not understanding the chemical imbalance, such as too much or too little serotonin, that causes mental illness leads to comments that people can just get over it. By informing society of why and how, we help to diminish the stigma. Remember, with knowledge comes understanding, with understanding comes acceptance. I'm sharing the various mental health related awareness days, weeks, and months. Did you know October is Mental Illness Awareness Month? And last but not least, I'm wearing my scars proudly. I've been through a battle, I'm going through a battle I'm proud to say I'm continuing to fight. The war will be long and I've lost some battles, but I've won some too, and that gives me hopes for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your story. I know that can be difficult for you, and also Megan shared her inspirational story as well. So one of the pillars of this event is to highlight patient stories, what we're calling them, but ideally anybody that's struggling with something related to a health issue has the opportunity to talk about what it's meant to them. So if you know somebody that's struggling with a mental illness, or if you know somebody that's struggling with a chronic disease, and they want to talk about it to help educate people, to help reduce the stigma, to help reduce negative comments and that sort of thing, please encourage them to reach out to us, and we'd like to host them here. Our next speaker joins Wanda Davis. Katy Staden will be talking about what is Reiki. She's a second-degree Reiki practitioner registered with the Canadian Reiki Association and has a special interest in working with clients who are seeking additional help in managing trichotillomania and dermatillomania, also known as compulsive hair pulling or skin picking. Katy is also the founder of the High Hill Reiki Center, one of our sponsors, located in Wortley Village. Katy and Wanda.
Hello again. I thank Katy for the opportunity to help her speak about Reiki. So, of course, Reiki is a little bit more well known than, say, shamanic healing. But again, people may not have known what Reiki was, how many, 10, 20 years ago. So Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing. Now, it was developed by Mikao Usui. And as you can see at this point in time, Katy is giving herself self-treatment. So the idea is you can learn Reiki in order to give yourself treatments. You can treat others. You can even treat pets. So the idea is you can send Reiki to long distance. There's so many things that you can do with the Reiki healing itself. So Reiki is being given through the hands of a Reiki practitioner. So the client is lying fully clothed on a massage table, usually wrapped up in nice cozy blankets. So the whole idea, again, that relaxing atmosphere with nice music maybe playing in the background, and quite often clients will fall asleep on the table. So a Reiki practitioner places his or her hands around different locations around the body. So either lightly touching the body or actually just slightly away in that energy aura. So the Reiki energy is flowing into the client's body and the energy field in order to increase the client's supply of life energy. So remember, everybody has their own energy body, and being able to add that life energy to it is going to be that much more beneficial for your health. Okay, so if your life energy is not flowing properly, it may result in blockages. And of course, these are the areas where you actually may feel the aches and the pains, or it may manifest into disease as well. So Reiki helps to improve or even remove these blockages for better health. So again, you know, it may start in one treatment, it may take multiple treatments if you're looking at a chronic condition, but even after one treatment, you're at least going to be able to sleep better, pain will be reduced, and then the whole idea is being able to relax. So what are the actual benefits then of getting a Reiki treatment? So after a treatment, you're going to feel peaceful, you're going to feel relaxed and re-energized. So the idea is being able to have that feeling of vitality and health. So what it is the Reiki energy is actually allowing the muscles to relax, and when that happens, blood is able to flow to those areas, those treated areas more, and this is what quickens the healing process, having that oxygenated blood help in the area of, say, injury or trauma. Reiki can also be used to help change a habit, such as smoking or overeating. So Reiki treatments can be brought into this type of things. It's not just getting a treatment, there can be so much more involved as well. Reiki can also promote psychological healing, including feelings of fear, anxiety, and sadness, and increasing them with feelings of confidence and peace. So again, helping with physical, mental, and emotional layers of health. So the 5 Reiki principles.
Reiki practitioners, when they're taught Reiki, are also taught 5 basic principles or precepts that they then incorporate into their treatments and also their daily lives. And these are quite simple and quite basic that anyone can adopt, whether they're a Reiki practitioner or not. And they're especially useful during meditation. You can focus on one of these principles or all of them, and it can really enhance your meditation experience. So these 5 basic principles are: just for today, do not worry. Just for today, do not anger. Just for today, be thankful for everything that you have. Just for today, live and work honestly. And just for today, be kind to all living things. So thank you.
So you can see Katy and Wanda's information here. That's quite an interesting presentation, and I think we can agree that there are a lot of different ways that we can seek help, whether we want to do yoga, Reiki, all sorts of different opportunities to keep the body healthy, happy, keep us smiling. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Julian Meagher, who's going to be talking to us today about the law of attraction. Dr. Julian Meagher holds a PhD in French literature from the University of Western Ontario. He's a certified Ontario teacher since the year 2000, and certified consulting hypnosis since 2010. He holds a private hypnosis practice here in London, where he specializes in harnessing the law of attraction through advanced hypnosis techniques as well as in the past life regression. Join me in welcoming Julian.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Michelle and the organizers for putting on this event. It's very good to be here. The French novelist Victor Hugo once remarked that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Oneness, or holism, is an ancient concept whose time has at last arrived in our collective consciousness. Applied extensively in Eastern philosophy, the influence of the oneness principle is now being felt in Western thought through more holistic forms of medicine and more integrative forms of social, economic, and environmental policies. However, in this new millennium, the findings of cutting-edge science are taking our global village well beyond the boundaries of the World Wide Web into a brave new world. From neurobiology to psychiatry, from parapsychology to quantum physics, more and more cutting-edge researchers, including Nobel Prize laureates, are concluding that the humankind's three-dimensional reality could in fact be an elaborate fiction mediated by the brain and materialized by the vibration and energy of our thoughts and feelings. David Bohm, a former protege of Einstein and one of the greatest, most brilliant quantum physicists of the 20th century, was intrigued by the bizarre state of interconnectedness that existed between apparently unrelated subatomic events. Over time, he developed a theory based on holograms. Later joined by a Stanford neurophysiologist, Bohm concluded that the universe itself might well be a giant hologram, a three-dimensional image or construct created at least in part by the human mind. David Bohm's holographic universe is based on quantum physics' earliest findings, namely that nothing is real until it is observed. This brings us to the classic philosophy question: if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, does it make any sound? Stanford University's William Tiller supports Bohm's holographic idea and compares the universe to Star Trek's holodeck. What Albert Einstein considered to be spooky action at a distance has since been proven true by physicists under laboratory conditions and repeated on numerous occasions. Many world-renowned scientists, including Nobel Prize winner Brian Josephson, support Bohm's theory and are calling for a new way of thinking in science that would completely alter our materialist view of reality. Josephson believes that Bohm's theory may someday even lead to the inclusion of God or mind within the framework of science. So this brings me to the question: are we all victims of a complex hoax created by our senses, as illustrated in popular culture by the movie The Matrix? Is humanity the unconscious and sleeping dreamer of an illusion called Maya by Hindu lore? Could it be that the ancient spiritual teachers were correct in asserting that we are what we think? All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make our world. What if we all were the author of our own life story through the vibrations we transmit through our thoughts and feelings? Much talked about in recent years through the movie The Secret and such scientific documentaries as What the Bleep Do We Know, the law of attraction has become the mainstay of the self-development industry and can be traced back to the watershed self-help book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Simply put, the law of attraction, which can be defined as that which is like unto itself is drawn, states that we attract through the vibrations of our thoughts and emotions the people, circumstances, and events that populate our life experience. While the law of attraction has been communicated through the writings and teachings of some of the greatest teachers in history, it wasn't until 1927 that its scientific basis was firmly established through the birth of quantum physics. A new non-dualistic or holistic model of reality is rapidly asserting itself, allowing for a reintroduction of the law of attraction through what Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung coined synchronicity. A synchronicity which signifies a meaningful coincidence between two or more events, implying something other than simple probability or random occurrence, causes time and space to seemingly collapse into what some have called magical thought. Jung's explanation of synchronicity, which refers to absolute knowledge, is similar to what quantum physicists have called the unified field of consciousness. And therein lies the power of hypnosis. And I'm a little bit behind on my slides here, so just bear with me. Through hypnosis, you become highly responsive to suggestions. It's as if suggestions given during hypnosis come to define your perception of the world. Neuroscience has discovered that the mind does not know the difference between the real and the imagined, lending credibility to hypnosis, which has been described as a believed-in fantasy. If people believe that something is true and real, then it is, in its fact and consequence. Since our reality is a reflection of the balance of our thoughts, then it seems reasonable to conclude that you can more effectively leverage the laws of physics and of attraction through autosuggestion or hypnosis. In the end, our thoughts and feelings emit vibration and energy, which then activate the laws of attraction through synchronicity. And I'll finish with the words of Albert Einstein, who was just up previously, who sums it up best when he says, "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics." Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.
So another interesting opportunity for healing, so to speak, hypnosis and law of attraction. Very interesting talk. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Our last presenter this evening is Michelle Clermont, and before she comes up to speak, I just wanted to give her an acknowledgement for putting this on today. If we could just give her a quick round of applause. Michelle and I met at the Ignite London talk that occurred in August, and she talked about fatty liver disease at that event. And at the end of her talk, she had a call to action to people in the audience that she wanted to start Ignite Health. So different individuals that were attending that event approached Michelle, myself, Katie Staden, Tim Felsky, and Christian Deandra. So we've been helping her to put this on, but it's really been driven by Michelle's passion and her commitment to her daughter and her commitment to the Jamie Oliver Food Revolution, which she'll be talking about today. So Michelle is really an amazing person, and we've been all really happy to work with her. So thank you so much. As the founder of Ignite Health Ontario, Michelle volunteers for the Jamie Oliver Food Revolution, and she's the local ambassador in London. She's a single working mother of a son in University of Halifax and her daughter, who is here today, Megan, who's been chronically ill for 5 years. Her passions to inspire this event really to raise awareness on the dangers of the corporate greed impacting our health in drugs, supplements, and food. Michelle is looking forward to taking Ignite Health across Ontario, pulling together an awesome weekend of activities to celebrate the Jamie Oliver Revolution, which will be taking place during the week of May 17th to the 19th. Thanks, Michelle.
Before I get into that, I want to thank Katie for doing a wonderful job of emceeing for us this evening. If everyone can give Katie a round of applause. And Christian, who actually pulled together all the slides for us and has been running it for us this evening. If we can give Christian a round of applause as well. Thank you. I really couldn't have done this without the volunteers and the folks that have helped, and the speakers have been amazing. I had all presentations to me on the day that we required them, except for Jim. And well, we talked about that. But it was amazing, and I really appreciate everyone's efforts in pulling this all together. So tonight, I'm going to wing this a little bit because I've been a little busy, if anyone you might have guessed. But I do also do the Jamie Oliver Food Revolution. And all of this is inspired, obviously, by my daughter, Megan, who you heard earlier. So let's go ahead there. So Jamie Oliver Food Revolution Day is a concept that Jamie Oliver created, where he asked last year for volunteers across the world for a call to action, to have a day that celebrated food and natural foods that come from our earth. So the Food Revolution is about encouraging people to cook from scratch. We all have family and friends that could make better choices, including myself still. On Food Revolution Day, we can work together to empower people with the skills to improve their diets. Making simple changes to food choices can improve the quality of our life and our children's lives. 42 million children under 5 are already obese. We need to reverse that. These children are the very first generation that will live shorter lives than their parents. That line right there is my passion. I'm sorry, corporate world, you can't have our kids. You know, you want to destroy me at 44 with weight ignoring that my whole life, that's fine, but don't you take my child. Ambassadors are the spark of enthusiasm that can turn it into a local movement by connecting the dots of support. Food Revolution Day aims to give those who have been working tirelessly at a platform to share their knowledge with the local community and open up opportunities. For example, a local chef will be able to offer a cooking class. A gardener can teach their neighbor how to make a vegetable garden in their own backyard. Food educators can get creative and offer local experiences like food shopping. The man of the moment He is absolutely the inspiration behind this. He fights for it every day of his life. I don't know if you saw any of his shows a couple of years ago with trying to change things in the school systems in the United States. Issue is in Canada as well. Don't kid yourself. We did run our first Revolution Day event on May 19th, 2012 here at the Covent Market. It was very successful. We had Growing Chefs, which is a nonprofit in London that focuses on educating children about food. So they get kids playing in the dirt and learning how to plant seeds and make simple meals, and that's something we've gotten away from. So those are some pictures from that first event. We did have kids putting together vegetable and fruit faces, and they had a great time doing it. We had entertainment, which we'll do again this year, and even the 12 and 11-year-old kids were busy playing in the dirt, planting a seed. They didn't know what that was or how they could do that on their own. So this is something that I think is critical and will continue to move forward. So Food Revolution Day for 2013 is planned for May 17th, 2013. I plan to have a weekend of events, not just one day this year, so break it up a little bit more. There were learnings from last year. We did some long speeches. Kresimer was one of my speakers for that day, and I truly appreciate that. This year I want to do things like a Veggie Fest, which is an idea that Christian actually brought to me, and I think it's a great idea, so celebrate veggies. Growing Chefs, I'm bringing them back. I want them teaching kids and continue to support them in their mission. Covent Market, I will work to do cooking demos in their market kitchen, and we'll do lectures. So mark your calendars now. What can we do in our communities? Restaurants can hold fresh local dinner events showing how to use local produce. Neighborhoods can have potluck dinners, challenging people to create healthy meals. Grow a garden, whether it's community or in your own backyard. The fresher it is, the closer it is to your house, the healthier it's going to be for you. If you're going to go to the grocery store, and a lot of us have to, shop in the outer aisles of your grocery store. Fresh meat, fruits, veggies, dairy, bakery provide the main requirements for your healthy eating. Find local markets and farmers that you can buy from and get to know them and their practices. Dolway Organic will be one of the vendors that we'll be working with for the Food Revolution for 2013, and they have an organic garden or farm not very far from London. So how can you help yourself? Make one change at a time to improve your health. Stop drinking pop and sugar juices. Try something like Kiki's maple sap. Go for walks, get active. Small steps do make a difference. Stop buying your food at the drive-thru. Those are the key things. I cook most days now, so fresh veggies, it's not that hard. If you prepare on Sundays and cut things up ahead of time, you can do this. And I work a 10-hour day, and I get home, and I'm a single mom, so I'm it. So if I can do it, so can you. How can you help your kids? Teach them how to cook. Cook with them. Let them choose a new fruit or a new vegetable every week. Teach them how to make a garden, how to take care of a garden. Be active with them. Small things that I wish I had done when Megan was a little girl. Would you like to be part of that 2013 planning committee? Contact me. I'm always looking for volunteers and people to help me make these things happen. So some of my contact information is there. I do want, again, to thank all of my speakers from this evening. I appreciate everybody's efforts that they've put into this, and all of the volunteers that are here that have volunteered their services. Take a moment and do check out the information available to you in the room, and thank you so much for attending the very first event.
Before we close today, I just wanted to take this time to re-acknowledge all of our sponsors in no particular order, but I'll start with our headlining sponsor. Hybrid Training Systems, Ignite London, High Hill Reiki, Velocity Drivers, JD Communications and Design, Karma Yoga Studios, Gansborough Family Chiropractic, Photographers for Charity, Michael Sclero Design and Photography and Design, and Spectacle Cinema. So thank you so much for sponsoring this event. Without you, some of this would not have been possible. And thank you to our guests for coming today, because without you, the event can't obviously go on. So thank you so much for being a great audience, for participating in the yoga demonstration in the beginning, for helping to support some of our speakers today with getting more information. We hope that you enjoyed it. And we hope that you'll tell your friends and family to come out for our next event. So thank you again for coming, and have a safe trip home.